Welcome to RPG Book Club, LongCast. I should start that over so to make that not bad. Welcome to RPG Book Club LongCast, the podcast where we play a little bit of a very long video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm David Bernard Houck. I waited my turn this time, and I think actually doing that threw off Maddie.
It did.
I'm sorry I keep messing this up.
It's okay. I don't actually use it anymore now that Zencastr got its act together, because Zencastr syncs it for me. I used to use that to sync the episode all the time, but I don't have to anymore. So
Nice.
y'all can say it in whatever order you want.
I was going to go nice with that voice, but then I choked.
Nice.
Cool.
But, today we will be talking about the second chunk of the second chunk of .hackgu, and talking about everything up until we finish the first round of the tournament, which is when the villain of the piece starts to reveal themselves. But
Because we didn't know before.
yes, yeah. But
I had no suspicions.
yeah. But without further ado, let's jump in. I had a special song that I was like, I need to make sure we listen to this one today, and I do not remember what it was.
Is it
Maybe
the actual, the other Crimson Versus song?
No, but I will put that one in this episode because I put the wrong one in last week. But it was something else where I was like, oh, hey, we haven't done this song before. Oh, it's the vocal track from Holzgron's Cathedral.
Oh yeah,
I never put that in last time.
Great track.
But
Yeah, definitely.
That is my desktop music in the game. I set that as my desktop music because I love it.
You know,
it's a
I know
real good
we haven't
track,
gotten
so that's
started
what we'll
yet,
do.
but I might as well mention. You know what's the problem with this game? You're always unlocking more desktop tracks, but none of them are as good as the one you start with. So I haven't changed it.
yeah, desktop.wave is
I love that
a
song.
real good
Anytime
track.
I get a different song, I'm like, this is great. But also, I've gained nothing from this.
Yeah.
I'm not changing to it.
So yeah, let's listen to that vocal track, and then we will dive right in and get started talking about this section.
Der Baum mit Schatten nicht auf, der sucht nach dem Abendreiche, verreist und kommt noch nicht zurück. War Königkind, schließt dich das herauf, ab Beiron, König Beiron, wie verflucht, wer ist gemeinsam zu bekämpfen.
So, we are finally back on our desktop after escaping the IDA server, and we check our email and find a message from Atalie. She's relieved to be back in the real world, and she can talk in real life, but the tip of her hand where her character was cracked is numb. I seem to remember her thigh cracking, but whatever.
No, it was her arm.
Huh.
I didn't remember either of them being cracking until it was last week, but it was everybody was back in Raven's at home, and they were like, oh, but Atalie, you can't leave because your hand's all fucked up. And I'm like, wait, her hand's all fucked up? I fucking missed it, I guess. But yeah, her hand's fucked up.
If her hand got fucked up, I missed it as well.
Well, it looks like for once I'm the one who paid attention to the video game.
I pay attention exactly as much as I have to get notes. And
Actually, I mean, that could have been
I
the case. You
expend
could have
no
been,
more mental energy than that on this game.
I mean, you totally could have been like writing a note for something else, and then they showed her hand, and you missed it.
I will say taking notes for this game is pretty easy because there's so much dead air between lines.
And the
It's
scenes
true.
go on for so much longer than they have to. Like, when they're prattling on about something that doesn't matter, you can actually finish the notes that you were already writing for that scene.
Yeah. I just have to keep glancing up to make sure I don't miss when they do one of those cutaways where things are actually animated, because I love those.
Yeah, those are really good.
Anyway, a doctor told her symptoms resemble Doll syndrome, but he doesn't know what caused them. So I thought Doll syndrome was mainly just like you become unresponsive, but I guess it has other symptoms that she's displaying.
Yeah, in the news this week, they talk about Doll syndrome a lot, and there is a symposium in Germany about Doll syndrome. And while they thought it was the like walking coma that it was before, they are talking about a lot of related issues, and it's probably one of those related ones.
That's neat.
That your hand being broken is like.
Cool. So Atali asks Haseo to meet her in Makanu so they can talk. When Haseo arrives, Atali demonstrates that she can speak normally now. Haseo is worried about her hand, but Atali is like, no, it's okay. I got a one-handed controller. Everything's fine. And Haseo's like, yeah.
I thought every controller was one-handed controller, because like all of the anime that was showing people playing the world from last game, they had what looked like a single Joy-Con type thing. Is how they were all playing.
This at some point. It's just pretty subtle. They're using that in one hand and a keyboard with the other, so it's like a weird version of keyboard and mouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I guess
Okay,
she found a way to not have to use the keyboard.
Yeah, I did see the. I did notice that they had the one Joy-Con as well.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they're all playing this game using a Wiimote and nunchuck.
Oh no, this game's bad now. It's on the Wii.
Yep. Haseo asks Atali if she wants to keep going with the world. He suggests she could take some time off, but she says she's not going to quit the world ever. After all, this isn't anything a doctor can heal. The answer is in the world. And, Sakaki is here, so she has to be here for him. Haseo feels guilty that he can't do anything for Atali, and I'm pretty sure he's like, fuck Sakaki in his brain. So anyway, he tells her to get some rest. Kun emails Haseo about Atali's condition. It seems like she was more open with Kun, and Haseo thinks maybe she's putting distance between them after the disagreement about Sakaki incident. And, I mean, that suggests Atali is capable of establishing healthy boundaries with Haseo, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I buy the virtual reality MMO accidentally taking over the world, but I don't buy Atali having healthy boundaries.
Yeah, Atali being anything less than just like, I need to be near Haseo at all times, and he treats me bad, but actually he's great. Like that's just her mode at all times.
Yeah. Yata emails the members of GU telling them to meet in Raven's at home. And, I'm now realizing most of the GU meetings could probably have been an email.
Yeah, ain't that just like real life?
Yep. So Yata tells everyone that from the outside world's perspective, nothing really happened during the IDA server incident. They think there was just some network trouble. It just lasted a few minutes. Haseo gets pissed and goes off on Yata for a bit, and Yata's like, I know you're upset about Atali. I'm aware of her symptoms. We're tracking Ida so we can recover her epitaph. Kun is also pissed off at Yata and demands that Yata make an announcement about Ida and convince the CC Corp executives to shut down the server. Yata's like, no, that's stupid. Haseo agrees because he wouldn't be able to keep going after Tri-Edge if the server was shut down. Kun is like, fuck you guys, I'm leaving, and he storms out. Yata says he'll be back soon. Yata asks if Haseo found anything in the operation folder. Haseo remembers the Ovan 01, but tells Yata, I don't know. No, I don't think so. Haseo tells Yata he'll continue to cooperate with him to save Shino and leaves. Pai suggests to Yata that maybe they can approach this another way, like gathering specialists on a closed server. Yata says Ida's interest lies in people, which is why it remains in the world. If they shut down the world, Ida would spread elsewhere. They must focus on gathering Epitaph users so they can confront it. He dismisses Pai. Some freaky-looking person in, like, some freaky-looking robe appears and sort of grunts at Yata.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yata tells them Project EU is running smoothly, and the freaky person speaks in a freaky voice and says some ominous shit, which suggests they have power over Yata. They disappear.
I knew Organization 13 was in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like if Xant from Twilight Princess joined Organization 13.
Yeah. Syllabus contacts Haseo saying Gaspard is talking nonsense and won't listen to reason. Haseo heads to Kennard's at home.
Big
It seems
surprise.
Gaspard is trying to explain to Syllabus. Yeah. Gaspard is trying to explain to Syllabus, who was offline at the time, what happened on the Ida server. Haseo doesn't want to tell them about Ida and avatars, so he acts like Gaspard's just saying some nonsense, which is mean.
He gaslights the shit out of Gaspard.
He totally gaslights poor Gaspard. He's like, oh yeah, dude, Gaspard, what the fuck are you talking about? And Gaspard looks at him like he's so, like, okay, the graphical fidelity of this game doesn't really show this, but, like, he looks at him like a sad fucking puppy. He's like, but you were there.
I mean, Gaspard
How could
always
you?
looks pathetic, so...
That's true, he does. So he's just like, he's so hurt that Haseo's not backing him up on this. And then when Haseo lies and says, like, you must have just had a dream or imagined it, Gaspard, I'm pretty sure Gaspard actually, like makes himself buy it. He's like, oh, I guess I really did just dream it. Which is sad.
It was kind of fucked up.
Haseo didn't need to gaslight him. He could have just been like, yeah, that happened. I don't know why. Just like everyone else doesn't know why. And gaslighting him is a bold move considering how many people were online who could end up corroborating Gaspard's story. But none of the NPC players seem to talk about the horrifying world upturning thing that just happened to them, so
I like
whatever.
to imagine that
Every single person on the forums does, though. That was actually going to be one of my memorable
imagine that all the
moments.
people who you see in the game just weren't there that day. Like, I mean, think about it. Online games have very high player bases, so it's just like, oh yeah, no, these are just other guys. Like, maybe the percentage of people who experience this is, like, very small, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
I think
only the people who happen to be online, like, right that second.
Yeah, I think Yada even mentioned something to the fact in his it was all a blip type thing. There's a whole lot of people like complaining about it, but the vast majority of people didn't even notice. So it's probably,
which is weird and interesting.
But still, if Syllabus just goes on the forums, he'll see
Which
that a lot
he
of people are
does.
saying the same thing as Gaspard.
I'm not saying which he does, as in like he does do that. I'm saying like he's regularly on the forums, so he would see it.
yeah.
But yeah. And also, Haseo could have at least been like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about," and then later been like, "Hey, Gaspard, I'm sorry for doing that, but like, let's just not talk about that right now. Okay, are we cool? Okay, bye." But no, he doesn't even do that.
Nope.
It's almost like Haseo's a bad person.
It's almost like he's a fucking jerk.
He really is. He should not be the lead of this goddamn game.
I mean, he gets a lot better this volume, but it's not a high bar.
No.
He's definitely got an arc. The arc is from like irredeemable bastard to edgy
redeemable
anti-hero.
bastard.
Edgy, yeah. Now, notice we didn't say he gets redeemed. We said that he now seems like he might be redeemable, which previously he did not.
Yes.
Maybe Volume 3, he'll get redeemed.
Maybe.
Maybe that's the RE word that they use. It was rebirth, reminisce, and redemption.
Oh,
Might actually be
Sorry.
redemption.
this is a fucking aside, but this is the thing that I was gonna say last week that I kept forgetting. The names of these games, I hadn't realized till just now, but it drives me crazy. Because part 1 is called Rebirth, which is a noun, and part 3 is called, I believe it's called Redemption, which is a noun.
It is called redemption.
And part 4, the extra little part, is also a noun, whatever it is. What's it called?
Looking at it.
Whatever, it's a noun. But anyway, part 3 is called Reminisce.
Reconnection.
Which is a verb, and it drives me crazy. Why isn't it like reminiscence? But no, it's reminisce. They don't do parallelism, and it drives me nuts. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's the thing
I
that's
just
bad
looked
about
up
these games.
Reminisce to see if it was, in fact, had an obscure definition as a noun, but it looks like it doesn't.
Nope.
Also, Susie just jumped on my desk and is running into my microphone. I have this, like, extremely nice recording setup with, like, sound dampening stuff, but then I just let my cat jump on my desk and run into my microphone and shit, so...
That'll be fine.
Anyway, Haseo gets an email from Ovan inviting him to come talk about Shino and Atali at Delta Hidden Forbidden Holy Ground, which is the cathedral you mentioned earlier that has really good music.
Yes.
The email specifically says to come alone, which is always a good sign. Haseo heads to the cathedral. So Haseo, this volume, he's just not putting up with the weird, ominous people shit. So Haseo berates Ovan for abandoning the Twilight Brigade. And eventually Ovan asks if Haseo wants to know the truth, the reason Shino fell into a coma, Triage's identity, and the secrets of the epitaphs. Ovan says they all lead to a single entity, Ida, which, what else would it have been? Ovan tells Haseo to pursue Ida, and we were doing that anyway.
Which we were already doing. It's so weird.
That happens like 3 times this week. They're like, well, I can tell you if you take out Ida, and it's like, okay, it's what I was doing. So
it'd be like if they
what
had
do you
a
fucking
big.
do?
It'd be like if they had a big twist that Darth Vader was actually Luke's father in Return of the Jedi. Like they forgot they already did that twist, and they just did it again. or if they like foreshadowed that Leia was Luke's sister, like way harder to the point where like pretty much everyone had already figured it out, and then they dropped the bomb.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, he says epitaphs call Ida, and Ida calls epitaphs. If Haseo wishes to know the entire truth, he must gather the 8 phases of Morgana. And here my notes say, God damn it.
Here's another name for the thing, is now we have phases of Morgana.
Ovan lists 8 epitaphs and avatars, collectively known as the 8 phases of Morgana. I didn't get down the names of all the epitaphs and avatars, but they do include Skaith, which is Haseo's, Magus, which is Kuhn's, Tarvos, which is
Tavros.
Pies. What?
Tavros.
I said Tavros from Homestuck.
Yeah, they include Tavros, Terezi, Vriska, Pfeffery.
I think last volume I said Tavros, and y'all corrected me that it's Tarvos. And
it is Tarvos.
So
but
now so that really confused me.
We're just doing it stupid.
Anyway, it also includes Maha, which is Indrance's avatar, apparently. Also names Atali's avatar, but I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
And also Innis, which is a name we heard in Online Jack.
Yes. And one thing I like or not like, I was frustrated with is because it rattles off of all of them, and you're like, oh, that's Adelie's as well. And then later when Haseo is rehashing the scene to someone else, and Bernard can stop to take notes, when he gets to Adelie's, as he's like counting all the people, he's like, oh, well, we have me and Pi and Kuhn, and ours are Skaith and Tavros and Magus, and then there's Adelie, ... scene change. And I was like, well, god damn it, which one was her out of the list? I want to know like what her fucking powers are.
So the ones we don't know about yet, there's 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If Haseo gathers all of them, then Ida, Tri-Edge, and the epitaphs will appear. And I put in parentheses a question mark next to epitaphs, because what actually are those? But apparently they'll appear.
Yes.
Ovan leaves. Haseo figures that between him, Pi, Kuhn, Indrance, and Adelie, there are 3 epitaph users left to find, which Maddie already said. But I had to say it again because it was in my notes.
That's fine.
And you had to say it again because it's something Haseo said when he says it again to rehash the plot.
Yes. Haseo gets an email from CC Corp saying he can now access the town of Dona. Neat. Another email from them says we can now upgrade our bike. Neat.
That part made me holler. I was so excited about the idea that there was more bike in this game.
Yes.
There's bike quests this time around. Did you do them, Maddie?
It's awesome. Yeah, I did one. It was fun.
Yeah. Love them.
I haven't done any because I don't do any optional content in this game. I'm enjoying Volume 2 a lot more. Not enough to really do optional content.
Yeah, it dangled 3 pieces of optional content in front of me. There's a whole quest line about your bikes. Cool. There's a whole quest line about kicking chims. Not cool. There's a whole quest line about the metal grunty. Not cool.
Yeah.
Not doing either of those at all. I might do the bike.
Okay, so as soon as I got to Dona, I immediately, even before I even knew what a bike quest was, they just said there was a bike shop, and I went to the bike shop, and I spent all of my money at the bike shop. And then after I bought like 3 new bike things, later there's a required cutscene where they a tutorial where they explain what all the actual stats are on your bike, and I was like, yeah, I probably should have waited to find out about this before I spent money on things that I didn't know what they even did. Oops.
Yeah, I also bought all the most expensive stuff in the Makanu bike shop immediately, and then I got to Dona, and then there's a shop that sells better bike stuff.
I didn't even know there was a bike shop in Makanu. Wow.
Yeah, well, I showed you the bike shop in Dona. I sent you a picture because I was like, wow, look how cool this place is. And you were like, I didn't go there.
You said it was the junk shop, although is that the same thing?
That's what it's called, and it's where they sell the bike stuff.
Okay, well, I guess I did go there. I just forgot about it.
Anyway, another email from them says we can now access the Intermediate Guild Hall in Dona for Cunard. Neat. And that neat would have been funnier if we didn't have a whole aside, but whatever. It's fine.
Whatever.
Syllabus sends an email to Haseo to check out the new guild hall with him and Gaspard. So Haseo goes to check out the new guild hall, and Dona is beautiful. I love it.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I like how all the cities are at different times of day.
Yeah.
Dona is just like noon. It's bright and sunny, and it's beautiful.
It's a forest town. It's a forest village kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's a much simpler layout than Makanu.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. It's not a fucking maze to find the alchemy district.
Yeah, it is a straight line.
It does annoy me that there's a door near the beginning, which I guess Makanu has
would be crazy too.
But I can't ride my bike from the transport from the Chaos Gate to the Guild Hall.
Same problem.
And that really annoys me. Anyway,
especially because you can't open the door on your bike. Like if you could open the door, it would be no big deal. You just have the small loading zone or whatever. Yeah. But since you have to ride your bike, get off your bike, open the door, ride your bike, drive to the guild, get off your bike, go in the guild. It just makes it too much hassle.
Yeah. You should just never have to get off your bike at any point. Like, you should be able to be on it in battles and in cutscenes.
This should be a bike game.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, I'm a little salty. Y'all are all like, the bike is cool. We like the bike now. We want to ride the bike. When I have been there for the bike since day one, I have been a bike stan, and y'all were like, the bike is dumb last game. But I get it. Now that the bike controls good, y'all are jumping on the bike train. Y'all are just fake
No, we're jumping
bike
on the
fans.
bike. It's not a train, it's a bike.
Yeah, I know. I liked the bike before it was good.
So Haseo goes to see the new guild hall, and it's really nice. It's got like banners on the wall and shit. Syllabus and Gaspard insist that we all go on a quest and automatically join the party. So we do a quest, and it's whatever. After, Haseo sees an altercation between Alcade and Sirius, who we might remember are members of Ecolo, which we might remember is the guild for arena emperors. And we're about to get that thing we all love. They're talking about that. Sirius says he'll never give that up. And that/it is going to be referred to repeatedly in multiple cutscenes without ever revealing what that it is.
So, like, this happens a lot in Japanese media that I like, and I wonder if it's because game developers are not, like, novel writers, or if it's Japanese that's not as weird as it is in, like, if it's, if, like, that sentence doesn't sound as completely stupid as it does in English.
Well, I will say,
I'm guessing
as
it's the
someone
latter.
as someone who's read a decent bit of Japanese literature, I will say none of it does that. So I think it's just an example. I think it's just like the people writing these games in the Japanese, like, they're inspired by other games that do it, and they're inspired.
Yeah.
It's just the typical, like, oh, the person writing this game has no life experience besides playing video games and watching anime, so they think that this is normal.
Well, here's the thing that really bothers me, is that, you know, using pronouns is fine. I use pronouns all the time. I got pronouns in my bio. But they always say, you'll never get that. You must find it.
Yeah,
Just say it like a pronoun.
There are situations where, like, there are some situations where it would actually be weird for them to be like, hey, do you have that? Or, hey, do you have the thing? Or, hey, do you have it? And they're like, yeah. Because there are situations where it's like, well, no, like, why would they know what each other are talking about? But there's also, like you're saying, like, about 50% of the cutscenes in this game where they do that, if they just said, hey, did you get it yet? Then that would make perfect sense. But the other 50%, it actually would be weird. And you're like, well, no, realistically, they would be saying the name of the thing. But it's like, I don't have it anymore. Just give me 5 minutes.
Now I'm imagining Danny being like, I don't have it anymore.
But here's the extra thing. How many times when that happens in anime or games would, like, if they just said the name of the thing that they were wanting, it wouldn't spoil anything because you wouldn't know what that thing is. Or, better yet, how many times would it be resolved more easierly just by removing the scene entirely, because we don't need a stupid foreshadowing scene where a character asks another character if they have it. Maybe you should just cut that scene, and later when it shows up, that's when we'll find out about it.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
This scene, to be fair, does serve a purpose, because we see that Sirius is just, like, going wild, whereas before he was sort of stoic and humorless.
Serious.
Yes. I wasn't intentionally avoiding that word. I just thought of different words. But, yeah. But, yeah, he's just going wild, screaming about how he'll never give that up. Anyway, Sirius leaves, and Haseo asks Alcade what his deal is. Apparently, he forgot that Alcade hates him. She says this is all Haseo's fault and runs off. Haseo receives an email from Pi saying that Ida signals were picked up at the Holy Palace title match. Hell yeah, you know what that means. We got a tournament again. Haseo wonders if this has to do with what Sirius and Alkaid were fighting about. I don't really see the connection, but whatever. He heads into the world to find her. When he does, she immediately demands that they go on an adventure together in Theta Severe Unclean Grey Dance. And Haseo's like, okay. Because he just goes along with stuff.
He really does. He's such an asshole, and yet he's also so very malleable.
Yeah, and I mean, if someone who hates me and has literally sworn revenge against me was like, hey, let's go to this place, this very specific place, let's go there together, and nothing bad will happen, don't bring weapons, I would be like, I don't know.
Well, he probably does assume he can kick her ass, because he can.
He did.
And he did.
He literally did.
No, but I love how he's like, he'll say yes to anything. He's just like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm just gonna be an asshole about it, but sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Only his words are mean.
Yeah. And, words can't hurt people.
Speaking of words, so I found the TV tropes page. The trope is called "You Know the One," and it does mention that in the Japanese language, typically, because Japanese drops the subject like always, you almost never have the subject in the sentence. These sentences are just the people talking where you don't know the context to know what the thingy is, and so it's basically all the times that we get it, he, that, it's etc. is localization tropes, like it can't be helped shows up all the time, even though it's a really bad sentence that no one should say, but it can't be helped. So it's similar to that. And where it shows up all the time in localizations.
Yeah. You're just like, do you have like oh, bad, and we're just like, what's bad? But now they're like, is bad. Yeah
That makes sense. So Haseo and Alkaid go to the area, and you can bring a third person along. So I brought Pyrrhus the third because I was
Me too.
I love him. Me too.
I don't like him, but I was like, hey, you're probably not going to be in this game otherwise, so.
That was also kind of my thought. I'm like, hey, you know what, buddy? You can do something. That's fine.
Yeah. So Haseo considers trying to talk to Alkaid, but she doesn't seem receptive, so he's like, I'll just wait until we get to the Beast Temple. So when they get to the Beast Temple, Alkaid says that ever since Haseo became the Demon Palace Emperor, Sirius has been acting weird. We see some sort of flashback in which Sirius laughs evilly and yells about it. He is with the two characters we saw with Tri-Edge, who Alkaid refers to as that winged guy and that naked guy. Haseo makes the connection genders. And winged and naked. So Haseo makes a connection. It's like, maybe those are the people I saw with Tri-Edge. Alkaid says, that's not Sirius. Haseo wonders if Sirius was taken over by Ida, like Indrance was. So that would mean not only are they repeating the story structure, they're repeating the story itself.
Yep.
Alkaid says she didn't know what to do with herself when she lost to Haseo. She realized she had become obsessed with protecting what she had built up instead of what really mattered to her, which is like faith and shit. I don't know. She asks Haseo to help her find... Yes. Alkaid asks Haseo to help her find out what's up with Sirius. She says if she can fight him in the tournament, she might be able to find something out, and asks Haseo to enter the tournament with her. Haseo doesn't say anything, and Alkaid's like, okay, never mind. Didn't want to anyway. That's fine. Okay, forget I said anything.
It's like a 5-minute backpedal in which Haseo just watches her like apologize and everything, and it's not until the very end where he's like, hey, I never said no. He lets her just like walk all over herself.
Yeah, it's literally not weird. Until they get back to Dona. He's like, I'll help after all.
Yeah.
It's It's awkward.
And again, it's like, Arcade, have you noticed that he just goes along with everything? You should have known he was going to go along with this.
I mean, this is the first time that he's gone along with something for her. She might have thought it was a fluke.
That's true.
So Haseo and Alcade go to Lumina Cloth to enter the tournament. And it turns out we have to renounce our title of Emperor to do so. And at this point, I'm like, I don't really know what that means. It doesn't change the fact that we won the tournament. And later Haseo's actually like, I don't know, it doesn't change the fact I won the tournament. So whatever.
I guess it maybe means he can't go to, like, the special Emperor's Only Club, I guess.
Yeah, maybe you get, like, a special mount or a pet.
And, like, he no longer has, like, the little, like, the special title on his character thing, like, that says Emperor. But, like, yeah, everyone online is just like, hey, it's the guy that won the tournament.
So it's Pokemon rules, actually. It says in the email we're about to get from CC Corp is when you beat the tournament, like Indrance didn't have to fight his way through the tournament. He was just waiting at the end and doing exhibition stuff, and we fought him at the end. And so we don't get that right because we had to renounce our title and start from the beginning.
So basically being the Emperor just means it is your duty / also privilege to kick someone's ass every so often.
Yeah.
So renouncing it means you gracefully give up the title instead of having it stripped from you. So it seems like renouncing the title is the thing to do.
Seriously, yeah. You're like, yep, I won. Now I don't have to wait for someone to kick my ass and make a damn fool out of me at some point in the future.
Yeah. But anyway, Alcade's like, wow, you just gave up your title so easily. And Haseo's like, yeah, whatever, I still beat Endurance. Alcade asks him to come on more adventures with her and then scurries off blushingly. Because everyone's hot for Haseo, even though he doesn't exactly have a winning personality.
I just gotta throw this out there. Just gotta make sure we're all aware. Alcade is so fucking cute. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, she's great.
Her character model's cute. Her performance, her voice actor is really cute. I mean, like, the voice
as much
cute.
as much as they can be in .hack GU, where it's a minute and a half between each spoken line.
Yeah, no, she's real cute, and then, like, her behavior and things that she does is cute. She's great. I love Alcade. I'm glad that she's continuing to be a character in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I figured she would be because she's on the cover of the collection and had such a small part last game. And so I was hoping it wasn't just because she was hot while that she was on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that would be super weird where it's just like, this chick's in there for 25 seconds, but she gets to be on the cover.
I've been surprised in general at the degree to which the characters from the previous game are continuing to be characters. I don't know why I thought that wouldn't keep happening, but it's like, well, I don't know. It's like the important characters are Haseo and Ovan and the other GU members and Gaspard and them, right?
Totally.
Whereas everyone else is like, well, no, these are just people we fought in the tournament, right? But now it's like, oh no, these characters are still real characters who still exist and are still like, they'll see us and say, hey, what's up, Haseo? And like, that's actually really neat. And I don't know why I'm surprised that happened, but I am, and it's nice.
Yeah, I was mostly
Like when Gabby
surprised
showed up.
by... Yeah, Gabby was great. I was mostly surprised by the final scene we'll talk about today where Bordeaux showed up. I'm like, really? We're still dealing with Bordeaux?
Yeah,
It
that
just
was a little
seems
bit
so
like,
last
can't we just
volume.
leave that in the previous game? Come on.
Bordeaux really wants revenge.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to understand it ain't gonna happen. So Haseo gets an email telling him he can now register for the Holy Palace tournament, which I thought we just did, but I guess now we have to go and actually register our party, which is what I thought I was doing last time, but, you know, whatever. So Haseo goes to do that, but he gets intercepted by Pi. She tells him that she knows he's going to fight in the tournament, that Sirius has a strong IDA signal, and that the number of illegally modified players has increased since the IDA server incident. CC Corp cannot control these players' IDs, and they all have faint IDA signals. Pi guesses that some players who returned from the IDA server were infected while they were there. Now the infection is spreading like, quote, the flu, unquote, and nothing else.
This game is
Didn't make me
not
think of
relevant at
anything
all.
else
This is
in
evergreen
2020.
content. This game is not having anything to do with whatever's going on right now.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I accidentally skipped a paragraph, but I found it again.
Go for it.
Pai tells Saseo that Atali is worried about him, and also that Yata, in his way, is concerned about Atali, and everyone's just concerned about each other. Because, honestly, most of the characters in this game exhibit pretty concerning behavior.
Yep.
Haseo wonders who should be he and Alcade's third-party member. As he goes to register, Atali shows up. Haseo tells Atali he's joining the tournament to find out more about Ida and potentially recover her epitaph. Atali says Yata told her all about Haseo's quest to save Shino while they were in the Ida server. She apologizes for thinking only of herself while Haseo was trying to save Shino. Haseo is actually nice and tells her she doesn't have to apologize. Atali says she'll fight alongside him in the arena. She doesn't want to just rely on others. Haseo agrees to let her join the party and tells her to level up while they wait for the tournament to start.
Yeah, I really liked the scene because Atali didn't. She started saying like, "Oh well, I mean, if you can't find a healer, you can contact." Wait, no, fuck that. I'm going to be your healer, and I like the way she stood up to Haseo for the first time in 2
She's
games.
like, no, I'm doing it. It's like, it's me.
Yeah, this was like some legit character development for Atali, and I really liked her in this scene.
Yeah,
Good for her.
I'm just, like, most of the characters I'm liking more in this game. Like, Yata I fucking hate, but I hate him because in a way that is good.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, totally. And it again, it's like, you're supposed to hate him. It's acknowledged by the plot, specifically Haseo, that he's a fucker and we don't like him. It's not just like, oh no, we don't like him, and the writers did not intend for that to happen, which would have been annoying.
Yeah.
So Alcade emails Saseo to ask him to do a quest with her. So we do that. And if anyone wants to know the details of these side quests we go on, you better hope someone put them in their memorable moments.
I sure didn't.
They weren't very memorable.
So I remember only one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember what the other one was about, and I only remember one of the two because it had a boss fight. So
yeah,
that one was also a straight up ripoff of like one from the previous game. It was the same shit.
Yeah, I remember last volume, y'all were talking about, like, that one quest that involved Kuhn, and it sounded really good. And I was like, oh, man, I wish I would have done that. But, like, these quests, nah.
No.
Yeah.
And the fact that these are required, not just side quest ones, like, they could have picked a better one.
Also,
to showcase.
I will say, I'm doing a lot less optional content this time around in general, because I'm currently in a situation where I very nice and good friendedly told a good friend of mine that I would let her borrow my PS4. And I told her I would let her borrow my PS4 before we started doing GU and Volume 2. And then I remember, like, Sam, you were like, hey, so let's start doing GU next week. And I was like, fuck. I let my friend borrow my PS4. So basically, like, she gave it back to me, but I didn't want to have it too long because she's like halfway through a couple video games, right? So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna blast through GU for the week and then tell her she can come and get it back, right? So that's why until that situation is resolved, I'm not going to be spending a ton of time on optional content in this game, which is a shame because I am liking it so much more than the first one. But it's like, oh yeah, I gotta give her back the console because I'm being nice, and you don't want to be like, hey, you can have it, and then like actually give it back.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say, I was impressed with this quest because it was like Alcade and Haseo, and Alcade's like, yeah, call a third person to join us. So I called Pai, and Pai had voiced lines. And there were several people who were available I could have called.
Yeah, it's neat. And that was the case
cool.
with the previous game as well, just with some of the side quests you may not have seen. It's actually very surprising and interesting that they bothered to do that.
Yeah, I brought Gaspard because I needed a healer, and I don't remember if he said anything
Does
in the side
Gaspard do
quest.
heals?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice. I thought he was just a black mage.
He has a couple heals.
Okay, that's good to know.
I don't know what anyone does.
All I know is Atali's a healer, and most everyone else is DPS.
Yeah, I think most of the mages get a heal of some sort.
Okay.
But
So after we do that quest, Atali emails Haseo saying that they should go to Kennard together and tell them they're participating in the tournament. So they do that. And Haseo is nice again, and he apologizes profusely for giving up the title without consulting Syllabus and enrolling in a new tournament without asking him if he wanted to be in the team again. Haseo is so nice now.
Also, I think it's hilarious that Atali starts this quest because she has no voiced lines in this bit, and all you do is you go there and then you log out to check your email. So it's like, why did you need to come, Atali?
Yeah,
like, could have been anybody.
In my notes, I say Atali does literally nothing in this scene, so I don't know why she is there.
Maybe
But
she was just wanting. Maybe she just wanted to play the game.
I mean, I often go to whenever I go to social events, I usually don't say anything to anyone, so I can't really. I almost said I often go to social events, but that's not true, especially not anymore.
It's not true in general, but it's especially not true now.
Yeah. So anyway, CC Corp emails Haseo that it's time for the first round of the tournament. The party goes to Lumina Cloth, and Haseo actually graciously apologizes to Atali for always using her when it's convenient. And I'm like, oh, Haseo, you're so nice. But then Alcade asks him if Atali is special to him, and he's like, stop your screeching. So he's not all the way there.
No.
Shut up, bitch.
Usually he's mean to people who deserve it in this volume, but that was a bit of an overreaction.
Wait, so he says that to Alcade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed it because I actually thought that he said that to Atali, which would have been even more funny. It's like, Atali, I'm sorry for being mean. 5 seconds later, shut the fuck up. Quit screeching.
No, he says that to Alcade because Alcade's like, oh, is she special? And he's just like, shut the fuck up.
So Haseo is...
She is.
Haseo is the woman respecter, where woman is decidedly singular.
Yes.
So in the locker room, Atali whispers to Haseo, confirming that this is a feature in the world. Because we were like, can people not just fucking whisper to each other so people can't overhear their secret dialogues? But yeah, they whisper to each other, so apparently that's a thing they can do.
Yeah, don't know why any of the main antagonists don't utilize this feature,
Because
but
then
whatever.
we wouldn't get to overhear them saying, we need to find it. Wait, sorry, I gotta do it like Bernard does. We need to find it.
But anyway, Haseo whispers back to her that he won't use his avatar, so that's good. And it's time for the match, and Antares is the guest commentator, and he actually showed up this time. The match was really easy for me. Did it give y'all any trouble?
Super easy, which is funny because when I went to go start, and the game was like, remember, once you're in this match, you're stuck in it. Make sure you save. And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
So thank God it was super easy.
Yeah,
But it's because I remembered that the last Recode added retries on game overs, and so I was like, worst case, I'll just sit here and try and get better at the action part of it if I'm underleveled or whatever.
Yeah, like
so
the odds that you're
I just said,
actually
"Fuck it."
getting owned so hard that you would like you can't actually beat it unless you leave and level up is pretty slim. Like the idea that you're actually soft locked instead of just like, let me try it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when Team Haseo wins, Antares says Haseo has a strong fighter spirit. Perhaps he's got a girl he wants to protect, which I guess is the case. After the match, Alcade tells Haseo that her opinion of him is turning around after fighting alongside him. Then we see Sakaki talking with someone. He says the GU members have become aware of its existence. He tells the other person Her purpose is to defeat Sirius and bring it back to him. But she says Haseo is hers. He set her soul aflame. She'll make sure he pays dearly for it. It's weird because we don't get a clear look at her, but we can totally tell it's Bordeaux. Like, they aren't hiding it, but also they don't give us a good shot of her. And also, was her model all fucked up before? Because it's fucked up now.
I didn't register it being different.
I didn't notice it being fucked up.
Like, half of her model is like inky black with like weird glowy stuff on it.
Maybe that was a graphical glitch for you, or it just made zero impression and I didn't notice.
It looked very intentional.
I may not.
I have no idea.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Well, anyway, Bordeaux leaves, and Sakaki says to himself, which it's not even that he's whispering now, he's holding down talk to speak and saying he's the one who will be chosen by Ida, chosen by the world, not capitalized in the subtitles, interestingly. Someone hides nearby and hears all this. It appears to be that questionably queer person that we had a big discussion about from Moontree. Then we get some armadillo stuff, and we're done.
Yeah.
That's it for the week. Nice and short. You know, it's funny because last time, if you recall, before we actually played the actual tournament, we had to do that, like, fake tournament where we raised our battle ranking. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And we had to do all that horse shit, and until our battle ranking was like 100, we couldn't even get in the tournament. I thought we were going to have to do that again, but it's just like, nope, tournament time. Go win the battle. Okay, cool, I won the battle.
I have a new armadillo fun fact.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy, more armadillos
are... This is from softschools.com. Who knows if it's reliable. I just Googled armadillos fun facts.
Let's just believe that it is.
Armadillos are great swimmers. They can hold their breath for 6 minutes when they dive.
Christ.
Whoa.
Never thought of armadillos as aquatic creatures.
But I guess if they gotta, they gotta.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up the .hack GU Volume 2 Reminisce Game Movie 1080p HD PS4 Pro bracket English by Super Pingu on YouTube. And yeah, Bordeaux has like inky blackness on her face and glowing red eyes. It is weird. And I did not register that while I was playing it earlier.
Maybe because she's real mad at Haseo.
Yeah.
I can't believe neither of y'all noticed that. It really stood out to me.
I think at that point I may have been like, because I was playing that in the morning, and I think it was just like, I was probably just scrolling Twitter, listening to the dialogue every 5 seconds when there was a line of dialogue.
Okay, now I'm on BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed says armadillos can delay pregnancy. They can mate, and then if, like, the time is not right, they can put their pregnancy on hold for 2 years.
Whoa.
What the fuck is up with these fucking animals? How do they have so many crazy powers? It's like, did God intend for all the animals to have interesting, special, little bespoke powers, but then he fucked up and gave all of them to one animal?
I mean, some animals are just like that. Like, octopi can do fucking a million different things, are insanely smart. And, like, platypuses, like, they lay eggs and they have venomous claws.
That's true. Like, the similar to a sense of common decency, weird powers are also doled out unequally by nature.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, it's like, octopi. It's like they already have 8 limbs. They're already super smart. They already have beaks. They already can are prehensile and can grab things. You'd think that'd be enough, but sometimes you just remember, oh right, they also have incredible camouflage techniques where they can transform their body to look like fucking anything. Like, they didn't need that. They already had enough. They were already like the coolest sea creature, but you're telling me they also have like perfect active camouflage?
Yeah, and also they're just insanely smart.
Anyway,
so yeah,
animals are cool.
Animals are cool.
I love animals. This is a pro animal podcast.
Save the animals.
Yeah. Kill the frames.
Apparently, armadillos are also good at climbing and can scale fences despite just looking like they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, they don't look very agile. They're very clunky looking creatures. And yet
Yeah, I can't imagine one horizontal or vertically aligned going up a fence.
yeah, and also, like, I mean, we're all from Texas. Like, we've seen dillers in our backyard. You know, they're a pest. They're always rooting through your rutabagas, and you know, they're just pests. Like, and yet I've never seen one climbing something.
I mean, they're sneaky. They don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's just weird how often I have seen them, and yet I've not seen them climb something, you know? Or I've never seen one emerge from the water, like, right? I've never seen that. Like when I'm like at the creek, when I'm over hanging out at the creek. When I'm hanging out at the creek, like you'll see turtles. You'll see like turtles with their heads barely above the water, like, oh, there's a turtle. You can barely tell there's a turtle, right? Or you see turtles hanging out on a branch. You know how sometimes you see a bunch of turtles hanging out on a branch? That's always fun. Like a halfway submerged log. Or you see frogs, you see fish. Never seen a diller. Never seen a diller in the water. But they can stay there for 6 minutes.
Imagine what it'd have been like if you had just like spaced out staring at the same part of the water for 6 minutes and then suddenly an armadillo comes out.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, man, I've just been chilling down here.
Anyway, should we do memorable moments?
Yeah, let's listen to
I don't know, can't we just do 5 more minutes of armadillo facts?
let's listen to the real Crimson Versus track I was supposed to do, and then we'll talk about some more armadillos. All right, so I only have one that I wrote down. I remember seeing another one being like, oh, I should write that down, but Scarlett was using my phone at the moment, and so I did not get it down, and I have no idea what it was. It was a funny line, but it's gone. But the thing that made me cackle this week is you get into your new guild for the first time, and it's doing the, like, showing off the new zone thing that they do every time you... Like when you got one when you came into Dona, you get one like most times when you come into a new area, and so you walk into the guild and it's like showing all of the banners and everything, and then without cutting, the camera just zooms down on Death Grunty, and he's like, "You did it! You're an intermediate guild now," and it's just that like shoop down to Death Grunty was just it got me, and I fucking
love
loved
Death
it.
Grunty.
I was silly. I had quite a few this week because I thought it was quite a memorable week with a lot of great things I liked. But I recorded those things by taking screenshots on my PS4, so I forgot. So I cannot access them. I don't remember what they were. Right? Every episode, normally what we do is I turn on my PS4 and I go through the screenshots folder, right, to remind myself. So sorry about that. I'll make sure to think that through better next time. Anyway, the only other ones I had were the one we already talked about, where he tells Alcade to quit with the screeching already, which is hilarious. Secondly, shortly after that, when they're in the prep. Okay, this is not normal. This is a bitching, but like they didn't even like put the tournament in a different city. It's just the exact same fucking thing. I actually do like the tournament setup this time around. I actually feel like if I was if I would change this game, I would keep the tournament arc in this game and not have one in the first game. Because in the first tournament, if you recall, the reason he's in the tournament is he just thinks Indrance is an asshole and wants to fuck him up. Like that's it. Like the fact that Indrance is using Ida is literally like you find that out later. So there's no good reason for you to immediately get roped into this tournament despite having an actual goal. But now that we've contextualized things so much and a lot of actual plot has happened and characters have developed, now, weirdly enough, the setup for why we're doing the tournament makes way more sense. So even though it's still dumb that we're repeating it, it is like weirdly enough better this time around.
Yeah.
Although it is weird how they don't build the tournament up as much. In the first game, they build it up a lot. Like they let you know that there is a tournament and they do a little bit of world building around it. This is just like they enrolled in the Angel tournament, and I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess all these characters already know about this. But anyway, so when you're in the tournament lobby room, I don't know what happened exactly, but basically Atali's like, I'm going to do my best. And Atali. And then Arcade is like, yeah, let's go, everyone. Let's win the tournament. And Alcea looks at her and he's like, we need to try to keep calm and not get pumped up. And first of all, I think that's really funny because it's like, do you know what game you're playing? Like, are you telling your fellow anime character to not get pumped up about a martial arts tournament? But also like but then the next line I find very funny as well, because Alcade is like, yeah, let's get him. And then Haseo is like, we need to remain calm and not get pumped up. And then Adley goes, both of them are important.
Do a little bit of both.
In addition to being just a very funny line in its own regard, reminds me of the hilarious Tim and Eric sketch, Pools of Blood in Your Stomach, where the solution, actually it's called two-step plan, but the solution to fixing the disease of pools of blood in your stomach is a two-step plan. You have to be provocative and be organized. And they're both, you might have trouble doing one or the other, but they're both important. So that just reminded me of that.
I love that skit so much.
And whatever other moments I might have, I forgot about. So whoops.
We already talked about most of my memorable moments. I tend to sort of interweave them into my notes, which isn't the best thing for this format, but
no,
I can't
that's
help
the
myself.
privilege of the note stewer.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I will reiterate that I do like the bits of character development we're getting, like Adley asserting herself and Hiseo apologizing to people. It's nice. I like it. And also just overall, I'm enjoying this game a lot more than Volume 1. And I didn't hate Volume 1. I should make it clear. I give this game a lot of shit because it deserves it. But I am enjoying it. I do like it a lot more than I let on.
Yeah.
The game's kind of too chill to really hate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first game, nothing happens, but like that's almost the selling point where it's like, hey, you just want to vibe with early or late 2000s MMO culture for 20 hours because you can. And
you
now it's
enjoy
like
some weird graphics.
Yeah.
And some good music.
Yeah. Speaking of MMO culture, should we talk about Online Jack?
Oh, right.
Yeah, well,
yes,
I watched...
But actually, before we do that, I want to mention one more thing, which is that did the thing I wanted to mention completely escape my brain? Never mind.
Probably.
Go on.
I watched Online Jack, and I didn't take notes about it because on the PS4, I don't know if you can pause it. I think I tried all the buttons to pause it, but
you can. If you press, maybe it's like start, and it does the thing that a game should do, where it gives you a very clear like continue or skip sort of prompt, so you don't need to worry about accidentally skipping it. I'm sorry. You mean Ihara specifically? I'm stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
you always could press the PlayStation button.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, anyway, I watched it, and I was like, whoa, this is like 4.5 minutes of just pure plot and lore. I don't know if I can take notes on this, but this is really cool.
Yeah, so Bernard told me to do it, so I did.
Yes,
awesome.
You didn't actually respond, so I didn't know if you did it.
Oops. I think I was working. I volunteered to do it, And then you said, cool, so you'll do it? And then I did. Sorry. So when we last left our hero, at the end of the last game, they had been visiting the guy in the hospital, right? And the person had said, like, Skaith and Innis or something like that, right? And this time around, they go into some guy's apartment. I forget who, but it doesn't really matter.
Professor Sugai.
Yeah, they go to Professor Sugai's apartment, and the professor's there, and he basically gives them a plot dump. He says, okay...
Yeah, he basically talks about why all of the, like, shit that happened in the other Salvador Ihara videos last time were important. Like, he links them to the plot of the game.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't know what Ida means, but I found out that Skaith, Innis, and Magus are all names of the characters from this thing, the Epitaph of Twilight, which, if y'all recall, is the poem that the world is, like, based on. And then Professor Sugai is like, maybe the world R2 is related to the stuff that happened in the previous game, because that stuff was big and dramatic enough that people out in the real world would be aware of it, because that stuff also had to do with the Epitaph of Twilight. And anyway, he then says that, like, all the kids with Doll syndrome that all had the same class, turns out they were all actually members of Moontree. They were all members of the same guild. So then Salvador realizes that the what the guy had said before was actually the leader of Moontree. So he's basically connecting it all together. Yeah, he's saying, oh shit, the guy who collapsed was the leader of Moontree. Wowie. So then he shows footage of it to everyone else in the hospital, and then they're all hooked up to these weird machines, and one of the machines starts, like, going nuts, and it turns out that the student whose machine is going nuts is someone named Turu, which I don't know who that is. Is that someone that we should know?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. But it's someone named Turu, Tooru. And then they get a mysterious text message, and sorry, this is Michiru who gets the text message. It's like Salvador's. It's another person who's investigating along with Salvador. She gets a mysterious.
She's the lady he hung outside of her window in Volume 1.
She gets a mysterious text message, and she reads it. We don't see what it says, though. And she runs out of the room, and she's yelling, I gotta stop something. I gotta stop.
It.
Yes. And Salvador's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll act like I do. Believe it. And he follows her, and that is that. So yeah, a lot going on. Up until now, it's been like Salvador investigating this stuff where it's like kind of funny because we kind of already know what's going on, but he's not a gamer, so he's kind of catching up. It's kind of like in the first year or two after Gamergate, when all of us gamers who were aware of it were like, no, you don't understand, Gamergate's actually a really big deal. And then 4 years later, it's like, yeah, why didn't you all listen to us about Gamergate? They kind of helped bring back Nazis.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. So Salvador's like, oh my god, all this stuff, and now we're seeing the connection, and it's really neat. Because we don't really get much about the real world, because most of the stuff in the forums is dumb bullshit that doesn't matter. So it's cool that this is finally coming together. Also, by the way, turns out there are 3 Salvador videos per game, so we've only seen 4 out of 9. So I'm really interested to see where this goes.
Nice.
Because the first 2 were like, not much happened, right? They were like pretty slow and mostly just funny.
Yeah, but then the third one, you had like the fucking stuff written on the wall in blood and everything.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that the rest of them are going to continue at this pace, being like, oh shit, like these are actually really a big deal now and cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of forums and dumb bullshit, so I did not spend a lot of time on the forums this time because there was a lot, but I just was kind of skimming and seeing the sorts of things that were on there. I mostly was there to get cool background pictures for my desktop. but I did stop in all of them. And in every forum, including AppCalu and the official World Forum, because like last game, people pretty much stuck to their own forums. Like you would get Butt Rice and Kakaki, whatever his name was. But you get them like just in their one forum in the sub forum. But across all of them, whenever anybody mentions the stuff on the IDA server, this person named Nuada would show up and he's like, all right, I'm jotting this down. Is it okay if I DM you? And so someone named Nuada is investigating the IDA of it all. And on the official The World forum, the one that you get when you're about to log in, the thread looks like a Reddit thread where the Nazis showed up and it just says deleted, deleted, deleted everywhere. And people are like quoting people who were previously deleted. And everyone's like, whoa, look how fast everything's being deleted. Makes me think there's something weird going on. And Nuada shows up there. He's like, well, this has all been really interesting. I'm writing all of these names down. So that's cool. And I'm interested to see where that goes. It hasn't gone anywhere so far, but
that is cool.
Yeah, that is really neat.
I really like that.
I want to catch up on that.
Yeah, it's a lot better use of the forums than it was in the first one, because I liked the stuff in the first one, but all is like memorable moment stuff. And when we got around to the archives, I was like, oh yeah, the forums just react to the cool shit that was in the news. But here it's like, oh no, like this is like telling its own story.
Which is like, that's like a running
really
thing
cool.
in this game, is that like all the stuff that was established previously, but it was mostly just like texture. Like all of these textural elements are slowly becoming like the actual game, and they're all more closely coupled, and that's neat.
Yeah, and I think it probably worked a whole lot better episodically over a year instead of being all part of a whole thing, because you got 20 hours of like plot content and then infinite amount of procedurally generated extra content and all the stuff on the forums and stuff.
You're a lot more
for you
likely to do all the side quests when there's not already more game to play.
Yeah, and so there probably were a lot of breadcrumbs the first time, and now it's like paying off on all of that. It's like, oh, hey, you went and you watched the Salvador Ihara videos, and so you know that like something about the world is already happening in the real world, and that's like real cool JRPG shit. Well, since you paid attention to all of that, here you go. Now you know to read between the lines on all of the forum posts and see what's going there, and it's good. I like it. I like it a lot.
This is unrelated to anything, but wow, I just got some really exciting news. So the UFT, United Federation of Teachers, it's one of the two major teacher unions in the country. The New York City chapter of UFT, which is K through 12 and is over 120,000 members, is going to vote to authorize a strike tomorrow. It'd be the first UFT strike in 45 years and the largest strike in the entire country since 1997's national UPS strike. That's enormous. That is an enormously huge strike. So that's tomorrow. So tomorrow they're going to vote. So pay attention to that, because if that is true, what's that tweet where it's like everybody unfollow me now because this is the only thing I'm going to be yelling about. Anyway,
you do like strikes.
Obviously there's probably going to be ways to help, like donating to a strike fund, sharing propaganda on social media, stuff like that. So anyway, that's very exciting.
Hell yeah. But that's all that I have for this section of the game.
The thing I was
they
going
want
to
to have anything else to say.
One more little thing. I played a lot more. I played more Crimson Versus. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of hard to design your party. Like, it seems to me like a lot of it's just luck, and I can't find like any deck I make is going to have a very obvious weakness, and it's like I don't know how to do anything against that other than just like, because it plays automatically, right? It runs a game every minute while you're playing. But every time I'll check, it'll be like, yo, yeah, good job. While you were away, your deck won 27 battles and lost 5, which is cool. But I can't figure out like how to make a deck that guards against all situations. It's always just like, oh no, if they have a deck with this element as their major element, I'm just gonna lose. Which is weird. However, it's a lot of fun, and you're always unlocking new stuff is the thing. Because you unlock new cards by winning, and because it's not that hard to win more than you lose by having a mediocre, the game's pretty nice to you. So every time I play, it's like, here's 10 new cards, here's 5 new cards, here's a bunch of new cards. And the art's cool, and the abilities are cool. However, I did realize a major problem with it. As far as I can tell, it doesn't feed back into the real game at all. So, like,
Dang.
you can do it, but you're not going to get anything out of it besides just it's fun. It's not like Final Fantasy VIII or anything. So once I realized that, it was like, well, now that I've played it, like, I get it. So I don't know if I'm going to, like, keep playing it, you know? However, it is neat, and I would encourage y'all to at least dabble in it because it's actually pretty cool. But, yeah, as far as I know, there's no, broader purpose to it besides it just exists. So, Like all the rewards you get, all the rewards you get are more cards.
Yeah. But you bringing up Crimson Versus did remind me of my other memorable moment that I forgot to jot down. So there's a news article that says, hurrah, physical card games are back because they had been gone and replaced by video games in this timeline. To which they say, because physical card games are so much cheaper than online card games, because once you get enough cards, you basically can play for free. So I think CyberConnect 2 has literally never played a game of Magic the Gathering ever because that shit is so fucking expensive. It is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
But whatever. Sure.
Yeah, that's really funny. Or in this alternate universe, the prices for the digital things are just terrible. I mean, it's kind of like how ebooks are bizarrely more expensive than real books, because a real book you can get used from like a bookstore or half price books, whereas an ebook they always sell. If you ever go on like Amazon, which I know we don't like support going on Amazon, but you can go on there to look at the prices, right? To know what you're talking about. If you go on Amazon, it'll always be like, oh, here's this hot new book. And the ebook always costs the exact same amount as the paperback, which is like insane. Actually, I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that it is actually Amazon who mandates that, not the publishers. The publishers would gladly sell it for less because it would sell better, and and they're saving money not having to print it. And Amazon's like, no, you're charging $20 for your ebook, or you're not using our platform, because Amazon's evil, and it's completely killing the book industry. But anyway, but yeah. So since an ebook of something costs $20, well, you can get a used paperback of it for $5. So maybe that's what's happening in this world. Maybe because of insane markup, digital cards cost way too much money.
Yeah, they do mention in the article that like, because the online game requires a subscription, which is weird that Hearthstone would have a subscription, but whatever.
Yeah,
it just did not seem like it was from our actual world.
No, they're just being dumb.
It was, yeah, but yeah. Now that is officially all that I have.
Nice.
So if you liked what you heard and you want to hear us finish out this trilogy, you can go and support us online at ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub. That's ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub, and drop us a couple of ducats. We'll fill up our buckets, and when the bucket is full, we will do part 3. And when we unlock part 3, we'll do bonus episodes on part 4, because part 4 is like an hour long, so it would not be worth it for us to split off into its own section. But otherwise, if you want to just chit with us, we are online at www.rpgbook.club. Has a link to all of our socials. Most importantly is the Discord, where we have all of our friends, including our new friend Misk, as in miscellaneous, showed up this week. Welcome, Misk. Misk really likes Suikoden, and that's about all they said because I mean they just showed up like yesterday. But come talk to us on our Discord. We're chill people there, and yeah, that's about it for RPG Book Club LongCast. I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm David Bernard Halk, and I looked up the official pronunciation, and it's Kofi.
Kofi, that's
Weird.
weird.
Well, whatever.
I'm sorry, I just had to say it.
I don't think I like that.
Well, you can say Kofi.
Yeah,
But now you're
Kofi
saying it
makes
while
sense.
knowing that it's wrong, which is okay.
Yeah,
It's okay to
'Cause-
be incorrect.
yeah, because it makes sense for it to
world,
be.
baby.
It makes sense for it to be Kofi because you buy people a cup of Kofi.
That's their whole thing, yeah.
But it's FI, which is science fiction. It is wireless fidelity. It is Phi.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Well, Fee from Skyward Sword is pronounced Fee.
Of the two of us, I think I would be the one to be using Skyward Sword in a positive light.
I like Skyward
So
Sword.
it's-
I think it owns.
I thought you didn't like
No,
Skyward
that's
Sword.
everybody else who's ever played it.
I thought you also didn't like it.
I'm probably a
but
bit of a hater because I'm a hater sometimes, but overall, I think it owns.
No, you're only a hater on games you haven't played.
It's true.
Like The Witcher.
Witcher's so good.
Yeah, like I used to be a hater on Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of things to be haters and that I haven't played, all of you should go and download Moon, the RPG something or other. I forget its subtitle, but it just came out like yesterday on the Switch eShop, and it is the game that made Toby Fox want to make Undertale.
Yeah,
so
it's a hugely influential experimental game that has influenced countless. It's almost like the Velvet Underground, right? It's like that line about how no one bought their first album, but everyone who did started a band. That's basically Moon, except it was only in Japanese until now. And I've always wanted to play it ever since first hearing about it, and now it's out in English.
And it was translated by Tim Rogers, who's an incredible writer, and I've seen... I haven't played Moon yet, but I've seen people posting screenshots of dialogue, and the writing is wonderful.
Yeah, so it's funny how much I'm excited about the game. It's funny that I'm not really going to be playing it soon, just because I'm busy and I got life shit. But at some point, I'm going to play it, and I'm going to be real excited about it.
Yeah, I am very stoked on it. So, even though we like to keep this evergreen content on LongCast, too bad it came out today. You just have to use your detective hats to figure out when today is.
Yeah.
But
it's not going to uncome out, so
yes.
I mean, Scott Pilgrim did.
That's
so.
true. I mean, it could. But hopefully not.
I still have Scott Pilgrim on my PS3 if people want to come over and play Scott Pilgrim with me.
Me too. And rumor has it Ubisoft reached out to Brian Lee O'Malley. Is that his name? By rumor has it, I mean Brian Lee O'Malley said Ubisoft reached out to him.
That, which is crazy because I think it was didn't the 10-year anniversary of the game come and go, so everyone was talking about it online, and then all of a sudden Brian Lomely was like, "Hey, Ubisoft just reached out to me for no reason."
Yeah. So hopefully
it was
comes
the
back
10-year
out.
anniversary of the movie and the game, and everyone was talking about it.
There we go.
Yeah. That game owns. Like, I don't like beat 'em ups almost at all, but the Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the video game, is a phenomenal.
It's a very, very good beat 'em up.
Yeah. Anywho, this is our 15th tangent since I said we all said our names, so I guess we can say goodbye in order now. Bye, everybody.
Toodaloo.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.